Hello, divine, beautiful souls. This is Energy Speaks podcast with your host, Catriel. This season, we are actually introducing the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series with our different practitioners. And today we have the online cancer practitioner, Bernie Browne. How are you today?
I'm very well, Catriel. I'm very well from here in snowy Ireland. It's
Yeah.
great to
I'm so excited. Bernie and I met in our travels when I went to the Sacred Tree in Derry, Northern Ireland, and like we just clicked. I was like, it was wild. It was in the summer. What was it? What
July.
June? July? June?
Probably the end of June, beginning of July, I think it was. Yeah.
Something to that effect. And it was absolutely incredible. I was like, I'm like, perfect stranger, literally, hey, let's go to Greenan and Beltney, which are sacred sites. And I was like, sure, yeah, that'd be great. And then since then, I have gone back for my birthday in November and October area and visited. And now look what we're doing.
And I also kind of knew as I had a conversation with you, I knew something was, we were going to collaborate on something from about August. So
I love it. I love it.
the cards don't.
So tell us a little bit about you, the metaphysical world, the non-metaphysical world, how you become you, and we'll get into more of the what you're doing a little as the journey goes on, you know?
Okay. So I was born in Australia and I now live in Ireland. And I've always been a nature person. So I've always been very connected to nature. And for a lot of that time, as an empath, because it's what I kind of do and what I've honed in on, is that whenever I was taken away from nature, I became very bored. I became very depressed. I became like just not interested, apathetic in the world. And so when I woke up in 2013, I really started to delve into why this was happening to me, because didn't label myself as an empath. I didn't label, like, I wasn't anything other than just normal at that point. But a few people who came into my realm at that point really brought me into a lovely kind of connection with how I was a little bit more than I thought I was. And I was a little bit more multidimensional and I was a little bit more sensitive. And I had a friend who is the owner of the Sacred Tree, Helen, and she said to me, you need to understand energy. You need to go and just sit somewhere, watch people, watch the energy, all that kind of stuff. And that's what I started doing. And from there, it just took me not even down a rabbit hole, into a wormhole of all sorts of beautiful stuff. And I've done a lot of divine feminine work. I've done a lot of absolutely everything, like, from the physics side of things and the quantum stuff to really kind of tuning into archetypes, which is one of the things that I absolutely love and I teach right now. But owning the empath label was actually something that really started to make sense to me. And when I did, I started owning that sensitivity and being able to understand and know that when I felt something, to trust that as well. Because as soon as I started trusting it, everything started falling into place. It was like, okay, now I think I know who I am. So I thought, well, if I didn't know that from the beginning, there's bound to be other people who don't get that as well. So that's when I started talking about being an empath and highly sensitive people. And then I started creating, programs and teaching more people how to, when we heal and make room and space for our own gifts to come back out into the forefront is actually when we really start to become ourselves as empaths and as highly sensitive people in this world. And it's ace.
Congratulations, you're not a muggle.
Yes.
On that note, for 5 seconds, let's bring out our dragons.
Yeah. Yeah, conversation about dragons. Yeah, dragons are definitely coming into 2024 with a roar.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I would love to know a little bit more about Chinese astrology. I kind of, because they have like the elements differently, and there's wood and metal. It breaks up the earth a bit into two different forms. I'm curious to see how that all plays out. And here's the thing: it's like I know I'm a horse. I don't know when that's coming in. Probably I think it's 2 years because the last time that I remember the dragon, at least like from my birth near years, I think that was 1988. So I was a 90s baby, so it has to be 2 years later, I'm guessing, if it would make sense.
But the elements is what changes it as well. So apparently
Yeah.
this is the year of the wood dragon, and the wood dragon, it's been 120 years since the wood dragon has come up into this energy field. And I'm really feeling it as an earth person, like as a Virgo part in there, that I'm definitely feeling it very kind of, visceral.
Interesting. You know what's super unique about that? 120 years. So from the Jewish tradition, like Moses, he lived to 120 years old. And so it's kind of like this set standard, like that is like kind of the lifespan. Obviously, we kind of live less than that, but it's like it's kind of an interesting thing. Like that's the max amount. So you're never going to see a wood dragon in this lifetime unless it's that year. Wow, that's epic.
I definitely feel, and between that, and I know we're going to get into conversation about Pluto as well, the two of them landing near enough in the same vicinity as each other energetically is like, oh, look out, people, for 2024.
Oh my gosh. Okay, since we're there, because we're just gonna do that first, get all this energy out. This morning I literally was like, I haven't done a live in I can't tell you when on Facebook. And so I was like, you know what? You're gonna do that, and you're gonna talk about, Pluto entering Aquarius. And I started to laugh so hard because the theme of this week was the plumber accidentally cut an electrical cord here. And I was like, wait a minute. So everything came offline. So my dad had to like make sure, because we're doing this bathroom project, right? That everything is proper on that side, because the rest of the people that are doing the bathroom, it could conflict. And so I started thinking, I was like, wait a minute. So he has to fix the electricity. The electricity is transforming right now. Pluto is entering Aquarius. Aquarius is all about the electric energy, and Scorpio and Pluto energy is all about transformation. Ah, what are the odds?
What are the odds?
And I say this to my dad, he's like, what's funny?
Coincidence.
And my mom's like, yeah, that makes sense. And my dad's like, I'm just not even gonna go there with you. But what's funny is the man is such a deep empath and he doesn't even realize it. And like little by little, he's like, I want to go holistic. I want more plants in my life. Then I'm like, and then he tells me his dream, like, I want to live on a farm and just be. I was like, I've never heard you say that in my life. Like, what? Virgo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
He'll
makes
get there
sense.
one day.
His cycle has come around now. He's getting it. He's got the memo.
Well, I believe if I looked at his chart, he's probably coming in or has just had his second Saturn return.
Okay.
So yeah, because like he's 66. Yeah, he would have had to, because that whole Social Security old thing, 66. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
No such thing as coincidence.
Correct. So let's get back to you.
Pluto, okay, that'll come back up again. Don't worry.
No. Like, let's get back to you and I don't know, transforming in your life through Pluto and Aquarius.
I am really being asked to step up this year, and the dragons are pretty much behind that request. From November, from the beginning of November, when I was, and funny enough, it was a masterclass that I was doing called How to Be on Fire Without Burning Down Your Queendom. And it was so funny because fire was in the name of it, and I really felt that fire inside of me. And every time I was like typing a post or writing a little bit about what we were going to do in the class, it was like this deep voice from deep below was just going, you need to say this with more power, you need to say this with more fire and energy. And I'm just like, okay. So I think that's going to continue into 2024. I have to stop using my inside voice and start kind of like being louder, because I think this is where we really we've been activated for the last year, 2 years, getting downloads, and everybody's consciousness is being like updated and raised. And I think 2024 is now where we get to integrate that, and we really start to feel into, especially as empaths, stepping into those higher energies so that we can actually help more people around us, help the world in general.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's so funny, you being a Gemini sun, your Earth is in Sagittarius. And what is more vocal than a Sag? Seriously, with all of that fire. I noticed a huge shift between the time that I saw you in the summer and then when I saw you in the fall. I was like, man, she's spicy.
Love it. I definitely feel more spicy. Yes, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea anymore. That's definitely one of the things that is kind of changing.
That's funny.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that that's what we're being asked to do, is like step into our own uniqueness and individuality. And you can't be a leader like everybody else, because you're not going to stand out and show people that they can stand out and be their own unique and self, because the world needs more leaders, and the empaths are the people who are going to step up. Right now they're just like, whoa, but this is the energy that's going to bring them out. It is.
Yep.
And I have to be one of those leaders. There's loads of them, of course, and I'm surrounded by beautiful, amazing, like empathic souls who are doing the same thing. Like I've been told by the dragons, this is it. Get out there, Bernie.
It's funny. So like the dragons have been coming to me so deep. And like I ended up getting gifted 2 dragons, essentially like in Sag season. And then like I've always had my dragon Nathan, Well, he's a gator dragon. He likes to play in both realms. But, like, and it's interesting. Um, like I when I started tuning into things in regards to the series, going forward, and as I had to, find it was more of like aligning each practitioner to their classes and stuff like that. I ended up getting to Pisces, where I was talking with the online practitioner, and we're trying to figure out. I'm like, Pisces is such a floaty energy. I was like, how are we gonna pick one thing? And so like what are we gonna do? And so we went back and forth, and we decided we're gonna do an astral projection class. Like and immediately came through with, you're going to be exploring with your dragon. And I was like, oh, okay, what does that mean? And then I didn't think about it. And then, like, not long after, oh, it's the year of the dragon. You're the dragon. You're the dragon. I was like, what is going on? And the other thing I found out about the year of the dragon is it's very deeply connected to financial abundance.
Ooh, love it.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That this theme. So, like, with the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series, I'm asking, that if you're, attending a class or even the series itself, that you set an intention and you can watch it transform. And so mine is stability. Stability, financial stability, stability in where I'm living. And it's the concept of that, and I find that really interesting. That's my theme, as Aquarius is like at the forefront, which is all about revolutionary change and shifting our frequency, and we're getting out of Capricorn, and I choose to find stability in the Aquarius energy. What the heck?
Ah,
But
well,
it makes
it's
sense.
because I was getting that it's like my part is like really the message was about balance. It's the masculine and the feminine. It's bringing in that balance, which of course, if we can create like balance, we create more stability. Like being on a boat on the ocean. It's one of those things. But that's amazing. I love it. Good luck with that.
Why, thank you. Why, thank you. That's why I can shift and pivot pretty damn well, I feel.
Fabulous.
Oh my goodness. So, like, wow. So, what year did everything start to shift for you, though? Um, I've been seeing themes in regards to years. I'm curious.
Well, as I said, I kind of started to awaken around 2013, but I would
Okay.
say it was probably a good 4 or 5 years into that before I really I went into this kind of like research and learning and just like consuming as much information as possible. Like I was just like, I need to learn more, I need to learn more. And so I wouldn't have necessarily said I was spiritual at that point. It was more I was learning and trying to understand what being spiritual was about. And I was learning more about myself and all the different ways that we can see ourselves as a soul in a human body. And it was probably maybe because I think that I've been coaching for about 7 years now. So I would say it was probably on that cusp of sort of 6, 7 years that I came out of the closet in regards to just being spiritual and woo woo, and I was like really woo woo. Like I've had crystals and like I've collected crystals like a magpie from a child, and so I've always been very sensitive to energy and loved my crystals because I was like they get me. um, and one of my first kind of fortes into teaching other people about energy was I started doing crystal classes and teaching people how to use pendulums and things like that. So I was dabbling with it myself and learning to be confident in it and teaching others. And it was then that I started getting a lot of feedback going, you're so good at this, you can explain things really simply and you put it into a way that is really easy to understand. I was like, okay, that's really good to know. And that gave me the confidence then to really kind of step more into that role of finding more people like me and talking to them and teaching what I knew, because I had learned so much in the first 5-6 years of all that research and working with different like mentors and gurus and all sorts of stuff. And I hadn't used it at that point, and I thought, you know what, it's time to actually give it the Bernie kind of like understanding of it. And that's really then where I started stepping into my intuition in a deeper way, and I really trusting it on a much deeper level, and then things just was like changed completely and utterly, because I was stepping into who I truly was, as a multi-dimensional being, as we all are, but we didn't have that conversation. That wasn't even a thing 5, 6, 7 years ago. A multi what?
What you what? No, it's absolutely incredible.
It's amazing to even see the difference in conversations that we can have now. And I actually only had this conversation last night in Thrive Academy and my own women's group, where we were literally forecasting what 2024 was going to be for everybody who was spiritually connected. And one of the things that came up was just the fact that now that we can see so many people now talk about energy and talk about intuition and talk about psychic gifts and talk about astrology and all these things, like 10-20 years ago they were whispered in like dark corners and in closed rooms. It wasn't a thing, and it's become all such a like open for everybody that now I think it doesn't take much to integrate a lot of this, because we're all on that same level now, which is fabulous as a consciousness. So that's why I think it's prime time for empaths to kind of go, okay, we need to just like get rid of some stuff so that we can do the upgrade and raise the vibe a bit more, because that's going to be their superpowers, which is fabulous.
It's funny you should mention raise the vibe, because how I framed it with cancer class is that like it is about our feelings, but those feelings translate into vibrations. And so it's like really tuning into our soul's like vibration. And I just knew you were the perfect being for that, because that's the work you've been doing. And I also found it very unique that you have like Thrive Academy, which is for women, and like that the cancer energy is that divine feminine womb-like energy, and like tapping into that. And so like oh, now I'm like actually stepping into our conversations from I think in the summer of like we need the men need your wisdom too.
Yeah, but I think the first thing is that
Yeah.
women have to get back. Like we've all been raised in a very masculine energy for the last like how many 100 years, and
Yep.
so I women in particular have to get to grips with being back into their feminine energy and understand the power of that, so that then women create communities and women teach children what they know and what they understand. So like we're great at actually just showing others what can be done once we actually start understanding and accepting, and really tuning into that feminine power. And as I said, it's finding that balance. It's not because I very much when I woke up went way into the feminine and became so flowy and did absolutely nothing. Just read books and did courses and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I need to do something else now. And we have a tendency to do that because with this real sort of, and it isn't all toxic masculine energy, but there's a lot there that we had to let go of so that we can embrace our feminine. But then it's about finding that balance and realizing have a very positive masculine energy. That's what gets things done in the world. And we create things in the world through our masculine energy. But the downloads, the intuition, all that comes from your feminine side. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, from that Cancer point of view, like I know so many Cancerians who just have switched it off, the empathic
Yeah.
into part of themselves. Um, and and I really want to just say that, that's my message that I'm, preaching right now, especially in 2024, is that the more we bring those in as our gifts and we own them, the more we can actually bring more balance. Because when we bring balance to ourselves, we bring balance to what's outside of ourselves as well. It's
Yeah.
because the world just reflects what we're feeling, what we're doing, what we're thinking, all of that. So, as above, so below, and inside and out, it's the exact same thing, So
Yeah.
once we understand that, then we realize that, everything that we create starts in here. And
Absolutely.
powerful. So powerful.
Wow. Wow. As we were talking, I started to tune in. I asked about the year stuff, and it brought something up for me. Do you remember the Great American solar eclipse in 2017?
Yep.
That was a huge pinnacle moment for me. And I started to, on my journeys this year, I think it was in August, I was traveling, got to Peebles, Ohio. Apparently, Peebles, Ohio has Serpent Mound, which is energetically connected to Glastonbury and to Mount Shasta. And I'm like, what? It's like this scorpionic, like energy that connects so many energetic points. It's like that zero energy that's weaving through everything. And reason I'm bringing that up is because when I was there, I was, of course, in the gift shop looking around, and I see a shirt that talks about another huge solar eclipse that's happening in April of this year. And I
Oh,
said, oh, interesting. I believe it's the 24th, but I have to go reference my shirt. Because yes, I did buy it. And it's interesting because I feel like there is portals, of energies, and I feel like that August 21st of 2017 definitely was an entry point. And I really feel like this is another one. Entry point, also a maybe a for a level up for those who came in through the entry point in August 21st. That's just coming through right now. And it's really interesting because this series is running through the week of August 14th. Sorry, April 14th. I'm
I was going to say,
brain.
that's what series.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. No, I was like, wait, A and A, April, August. It's not like crap. April 14th, the week of that, in 2024. And so I find it super interesting that like the day the core class starts for um for Scorpio in person is this Sunday. Which is the day Pluto, and so Pluto enters Aquarius, and so it's just like, wow, like what are we doing? What are we doing together? And this is, this entire series because we're reaching out. I mean, I'm talking to you all the way in Ireland. This is incredible. The fact that it's spanning out so far, we have no idea who is going to be connected to this series. But I feel like this is the point in time where we definitely need to start tuning in to the collective energy and how can we together create something beautiful. Because the last time that Pluto entered Aquarius was like 240 years ago or something like that. I have to look it up, but That was around the Revolutionary Wars, the U.S. Revolutionary War, the French Revolutionary War, and I don't remember what else was going on specifically in that time, but I'm sure there were other things popping off in other parts of the world. And here's the thing: is if we start to lead from our heart, and that is what the shift is like, we can start creating some revolutionary change in a beautiful way rather than war, you know? And so it's like this is a reminder and an awareness to all of us to find our center. Any
I think
thoughts?
2023 was all about the ups and downs and ins and outs of 2023 was like, you got to find your center because 2024 is coming.
Right? And we got election years where, like my homeland's technically in war right now. Like, and I'm not allowed to go there yet until I do this series. Like, okay, like we all have our station points. It's like, kind of like we all have walkie talkies across the world, except, it's our telepathy, and we're like, are you at your station? Are you at your station?
Totally. And you actually saying that about being tuned into the collective, I would say that that was one of my biggest kind of awareness things of 2023 was just how tuned in I am to the collective. And again, it's
Right.
not coincidence that in November when I started like really feeling that dragon fire energy come in, that I knew I was going to be starting the first small mini program that I've done since I started like Thrive Academy in 2022, I think it was. And the date that I got downloaded with was the 22nd of bloody January. And I'm like, okay. And then somebody went, Pluto. And I'm like, oh, okay. Not good.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're so right. I think that the more we tune in, the more we get to understand what our message is and what the practical things that we can do energetically. Doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go out and actually do anything, but it's the fact that we actually have to start holding a different energy because there's a lot of more people like us doing the exact same thing, and that's how we raise the vibration and consciousness of the planet, so I think you're so right, and I never thought about it as a revolution from a consciousness and from an energetic point of view, and that makes so much sense. I love that.
Oh, and another thing that's actually happening, I believe this week, I'm like in no time right now. It's ridiculous. Uranus is going direct. Uranus is the planet that's connected to Aquarius. And
Okay.
Uranus is in Taurus right now. So Taurus is a very earthy and connection to Venus, energy balance, and allowing ourselves to receive. Like we would not have seen that particular alignment back in the last, Pluto entering Aquarius. But what's super interesting is that Taurus energy is all about the I manifest energy. So, and that's what's going on here on our planet, and in allowing ourselves our connection with Venus, because there's a couple different schools of thought of how Taurus, what's ruled by Taurus. Some believe it's connected to Venus, and some believe it's connected to Earth. I say let's just both, because everybody has their own perspective, and why not? It tells us a little bit more, and that Venus connection is all about the harmony, the balance, and the allowing ourselves to receive as a planet. So there's that connection with Earth, you know? And so, like, I don't know if you've ever heard the different planetary, like, energies. You can go on YouTube and
Okay.
listen to what each planet sounds like. You know what Venus sounds like? Sounds like a magnet.
Ah.
If you listen to Mars, it sounds like war. it's absolutely fascinating. And so like there like each planet is emitting off something that we can learn, and it's a teachable moment essentially. And so like that's why I love like the zodiac energy so much, is because it is a divine reflection of source energy, and we're tapping into that. We have all of those different uh energies within us in different amounts, and so we all have different things that we're supposed to do in the world, to teach, to all of that. And the part of the series is to take that and use it in a format that we can learn how to manifest, how we co-create with this universe. And how do we do that? We learn by experiencing, not by necessarily just talking about it, but the actual do. And so this series is about tapping into those different activities connected with those zodiac energies. And so we start off with Scorpio and we go all the way to Virgo. And if somebody wants to look at like that model, it's on energyspeaksbycottrell.com. That model specifically was generated by Chris Witecki. And I'm taking I'm saying, hey, let's go play with this, like let's go do, you know.
I can
Didn't
see
know that
you're
was gonna
getting
happen then.
plugged in now.
Sorry.
I can see you're getting very excited. You're plugged in now.
I am. I'm like, sometimes I have to hold it back a little bit because the world's not ready yet. But boy, we better be ready. Pluto's enters an Aquarius.
But I also want to say, like, this is why I love speaking to like you and me. We have amazing conversations because I activate you, you activate me. But that's
Yes.
what we all do with each other once we're on that higher vibration. As soon as we start talking about these kind of higher vibrational kind of visionary things, that's when we start like plugging into each other's energy and we get these amazing ideas. And when you were saying about like, the universe and how it's all like, what came to me was that that's literally what I'm teaching is about like how we are all our own mini universe, because we have all of these different planets sitting in a different place, creating different energies within us. And it's about owning and plugging into them. And when we do, we just like become this beacon and lighthouse kind of thing. And so I'm like, okay, I'm scribbling it all down because I'm like, okay, we're going to be experiencing it. We're writing the mini universe. All that's going to be in the empath class.
And that's the thing. It's like I know I knew you were the perfect person for this because you're already doing it. And it's like now we're just kind of framing it a little bit. And here's the thing is, and how that directly connects to this class is the empath, you know, we if we don't learn to manage our boundaries and learn to build ourselves up, we cannot receive these energies. Or we do, and we're out for the next month because we're so darn freaking, like zapped that we can't do anything. And so that's like you're the teacher, one of the teachers, that literally can show us how can we build that up safely in in ourself and live out our fullest potential. And so I would love for you to go deeper into that concept for us, so that when we enter your class that we know what we're doing here.
Well, we're definitely going to be talking about energy because it is our first language as energy beings and especially as empaths. But you're so right. What we have to understand when we start looking at ourselves energetically and the world around us is that you know, when we're in the lower vibrations, especially in the lower emotional vibrational energy, like, you know, when we're feeling, you know, like we don't belong, or when we feel like, you know, sad or angry or frustrated, and all of those kind of emotional energies, then we're on that vibration where that is the energy that we're going to see and experience around us. So anybody else who's in that vicinity who are feeling those energies, we're going to suck it right up and we're going to feel all those energies as well. And that's the thing, you know, empaths think this is their job, that I'm here to just be the dumping ground for everybody's emotional kind of and stuff. And that's just the challenge. That's what we're here to experience, because I know you were just talking about that. But, you know, we have to understand as souls, we came here to experience it, to experience certain things, being a human in this very heavy, energetic, like gravitational planet, but also that there's always a challenge to everything that we're feeling and doing, so that we have to, when we rise and meet that challenge, we get to heal and raise our vibration. So instead of us thinking as empaths that we have to be, you know, just this, like, you know, vortex for pulling in all of this lower energy that overwhelms us, and then we numb out and we shut down and we do all that. No, I'm moving away from planet Earth. I'm leaving. But this is where we get to understand that that is only part of what our whole system is about. We're actually here that we can actually push energy out. We can actually, we're, as empaths, we're amazing at transmuting energy. We can change it from one energy into another. That's what makes us fucking amazing. Excuse my French. But also the fact is that when we heal our own wounds, that's when we actually start to make space. We get to open our own channel and actually really feel all the energies that we can connect into. And then we actually can raise our energy. And when we raise our energy, that's when we get to actually be like that lighthouse, and we are able to project our light outwards instead of just being the vacuum that sucks all the darkness and the darker, lesser, more kind of heavier energies in. So we have actually that ability to do that, but nobody ever taught us, nobody ever showed us, nobody ever explained it to us. And so that's going to be what we're going to be talking about in the empath class. And also I'll be giving you some tools and some practices and letting you just start to feel into just how powerful we are as empaths and what we can actually do. Because one of the biggest things I learned in 2023, what we do as empaths, is that we are amazing at holding unconditional space for people, which is why people are drawn to us like magnets, and why they tell us everything, like all the, you know, all the hard stuff about their lives, all the things that have happened to them, and we're like, I'm just standing here. But it's because we have this beautiful way of non-judgment and holding space for people. And there's a lot of people out there who have never had that in their lives from anybody else. So we're like, you know, they're like moths being pulled to the light. So that's why I want to do this class as well, so that I can help more people understand that, you know, this is a superpower, but we have to turn it around. We have to, like, you know, get to the other side of the coin. It's not just one-sided, it's multifaceted. And that's what's so exciting.
It's I'm so excited. It's like, you know, this class is only an hour and a half. And I'm like, man, with you, I could be here for hours.
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna have to squeeze a lot in.
you know, but that's the thing, is that's where we're at. We're at quantum leaping. And that's what we're here to, as empaths, to build ourselves up and to quantum leap, because we want to build a world that here's the thing, is I can't even imagine what that looks like. And that's like the best feeling, because it is a feeling. And that's right there. Like, I just kind of want to walk us back a little bit, because we're on in the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series for this particular, you know, like model, we're setting the sacred space. We're leading with the heart. And then we're bringing and putting feeling into what our heart is already feeling. Like that spark, that light, we're bringing it to life, and we're uniting the heart and the soul together. And so when we start to do that, we can share that with others, and it's contagious. That's the kind of contagion that I want. Just
Yeah.
saying. And we're doing that through Zoom and in person. Rewriting those old programs and stories that we just experienced, and we're moving and shifting things in a revolutionary way.
Yeah. I'm totally on board with that too, because I do think, like you mentioned earlier, that the last time Pluto was like in this place, there was all these revolutions and all these wars and that kind of thing. And you're right. I think the energy is different this time around because Pluto is going to be bringing the heart into it. It's going to be bringing a different energy where, because one of the biggest messages I got this year too was we have to start getting out of our heads and back into our hearts again, because that's where our wisdom lies. That's where all our natural gifts lies. Like our body has far more wisdom than our brain and our mind ever will. And so, and I also, because I wrote this down because I wanted to just make sure that I remembered as well, is that whenever we step into these higher energies as empaths, we do become visionaries, and we become like, quantum healers, we become quantum activators, and we become catalysts for other people's growth and, their evolution. And that is why we have to wake more empaths up.
It's the other interesting thing that just kept coming. I keep hearing the word water, like drink, right? So, couple things that's come up is one, Aquarius is the water bearer. Okay? And so here's the primordial waters. We're kind of like getting in tune, and all this Cancer energy, our feelings, our soul, waking up, all of that. So like there's that aspect. And what does water allow for? What is water connected to? Memory. So where, as this Aquarian energy is coming in and bringing, and the water, like it's scooping up the water and it's electrifying it. It's transforming it. It's taking that vibration and bringing it into a new frequency. Because vibration, frequency, and harmony are all different things, but they all play with each other. And then also at a practical standpoint that I want to bring in here, from a very human level, is how important it is to drink water, because these are physical vessels. This is our meat suit, and we do need to keep putting water into our beings, because that's how we take out the toxins. That's how like all of that stuff gets flushed out of us, and we can keep moving those waters. So those waters are a symbol of what's happening at a collective level too. So if we're not drinking water, we're allowing it to, like, all the stuff to stay stuck in our being, and we start having those snicker moments where the hangry comes out, and we start freaking out on each other. So that movement is really, really important within this. I don't know why I had to say that, but I trust.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense. And also water is an amplifier as well. So like the idea about, continuing to keep, because we're what, 80 something odd percent water as a human being, then,
Yeah.
just helps us to be that multidimensional energetic being even more so when we're not holding on to all those toxins. And it's funny you say that, because I haven't been drinking water much, so thanks, Catrell.
No, I'm saying it specifically because I'm like, man, I just need to keep a water bottle on me all the time, because knowing me, like I've had kidney problems my whole life and I forget to drink water. So I'm going to reprogram myself to say, I need a water bottle in my hand. Like,
I
and
love water. Love water loves me, and put a crystal in it as well.
actually, that was my next step. I actually got a bunch of I got this copper bottle because it's a conductor, and I also have been collecting water all over the world from like sacred places, sacred wells, and I'm gonna start doing something because here's the thing is even if you have one drop of that particular water, it shares that memory and it amplifies. And it doesn't matter how much, but you can recode things. And what I also learned from my friend Carmela, who's our Virgo online teacher, um, she was telling me that distilled water is actually easier to program. And
Wow.
so yeah, and so I started thinking, oh, interesting. I'm actually getting this download in this moment. What if I had a dropper where I made my own little tinctures with this water using the base as distilled water? And the other is from these sacred wells all over the world. Glastonbury, Shasta, Peebles, Ohio, where the Serpent Mound is. Interesting. And then
Hmm.
we're like, tapping into these codes. That was kind of fun. I didn't know that was coming out.
I love it when that happens. Though you're just like, okay.
We definitely activate each other. It's ridiculous. I love it. I definitely want to I want to like ask you for all those beings out there who might be in alignment for Thrive Academy. Could you talk more about it and when do you start that up again for like a new series and stuff like that?
Thank you for asking me that question, because I love Thrive Academy. Thrive Academy, we actually take an intake every quarter, because originally it was just a 6 month program. And over 2023, it expanded and then it expanded again. So it went to 9 months and now it's gone to 11 months. And
Wow.
in time, because I've been getting those downloads too, Catriel, and and even Thrive Academy as a whole program, I didn't create it. It was all completely downloaded through me. And so I just take my hands off the wheel when there's more information coming down. And I'm like, okay. And I trust it that it's all completely what needs to happen for the women who come into the group. And so what I realized was that it could actually be a journey for people to come into rather than just one set program where you go from beginning to end. And so I will be doing a new intake at the beginning of February,
Wow.
because I'm doing a little tiny mini program of 4 weeks called Trust Yourself. And again, that was downloaded. That was the dragons going 22nd of January, Bernie, you need to do this. And it's actually going to be a little bonus part that goes into Thrive Academy eventually, because it's one of the things that a lot of empaths and a lot of people who are maybe very intuitive and multidimensional, and they don't trust themselves to take the next step and to do the bigger thing or to do the healing or to start talking about it and come out of the woo woo closet, whatever it might be, and once we trusting ourselves, that's when we actually start stepping into our own power and our own sovereignty. So Thrive Academy has become 11-month program, and I will be doing a new masterclass once I've done your class with the Empath Class after cancer. I will be doing a new masterclass, and you can follow me on Facebook if you want to do that. I'm in the midst. I finally got my ass in gear, and I'm getting a website sorted out, but I'm mainly on Facebook. So if you want to follow me, you want to talk to me, you want to, learn more about what I do, then Facebook is the place to find me. But Thrive Academy is something that has turned into completely life changing for the people for the women who
Mm.
step into that. And they step out like owning not only themselves, but owning their intuitive and empathic parts of themselves. And they already have businesses, and they're already changing other people's lives because now they own it. Now they own their power, and it's absolutely fabulous.
I mean, with the being we know, I've seen her transform so much. Like I am absolutely in awe. And so like it's absolutely incredible the work that you guys do. I'm just so excited and you know, I'm so glad you're on this planet doing this work. Like seriously. And
And what's
go
really
ahead.
different, Catrell, is that it's a collective energy within the group. It like I'm basically the space holder. I'm there to kind of mentor and hold space and activate them. But they take their own actions. They do their own healing. They do and I'm just there to kind of signpost different places and things where they might want to look and where they might want to heal. But it's the collective energy of these amazing women, and I call them M queens because they're my empathic queens. And that's the whole point, is that we start to really see our own power once we're in a space with other women who are owning their power. We're like, holy shit, that's me too.
And I just want to say, but like you know, just for anyone out there that is like, I know I can do a lot of things, but maybe having that kind of like, oh, well, someone else is already doing it or those type of things. Being a sacred space holder is so freaking important. That's pretty much exactly what I'm doing for this series. And if someone's not doing it, they, like just said, like whatever, like the sacred space is the most important thing because the zero energy is in within everything. If we have a sacred space, we can put the ingredients of what needs to be there, to transform. And so someone who can hold that container, that is incredible. So I'm so glad you're doing this because it's helping so many other beings to be able to do that as well. Because I guarantee you it will just flow into so many other practitioners, growing into their practitioner self. And so anyone who's out there that is like, hey, I want to do something like this, just just do it. Set the sacred space for yourself first, and then allow for the divine source to channel through you what you need to do. And that's what it is. And the same thing, I didn't create this, you know. It's like I want to provide a space for people to have fun and look at life differently, and for us to come together as one, no matter what your belief is, what your religion is. It doesn't matter. We're all created by the divine creator, and we're on this planet, and we're here to build with each other, and that's sacred.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, preach.
Oh boy.
Because it's true, like, once we realize that we are creators ourselves, it just shifts everything. And as I said earlier on, when we were talking, is that empaths already, even unconsciously, they already hold unconditional space for anybody who comes and just empties out all their woes and all the, but they don't realize that that's what they're actually doing. And so it's being able to consciously do that, and as you said, consciously hold that sacred space for yourself is the most important thing, because you can't do anything out there if you're not taking care of this.
Yep. Yep. So I'm super excited for this class and everything. I want to just say, so I have to look at my handy dandy notebook. Uh, to, we have the Empath class on Tuesday, February 6th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm saying Eastern Standard Time because you can go on to energyspeaksbycottrell.com and you can find out all of the time zones connected to that. I wrote out many of them, especially UK, um, all of the American ones that I could think of, um, and also Israel, since I have, I have a connection with Israel. If it's somewhere in between those spots, you're gonna have to do some math. My apologies. Exactly. But and then that class is going to be where is it? Oh, I don't have it here. I know it's $44 and I can't remember what that is in pounds. What is it in pounds again?
I know, 35 quid or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, 35 pounds. I put it in as pounds on the to get your ticket, just so that it made things easier and when then I have some finances when I'm traveling.
Well,
Practicality, guys.
it was again 44 came into my head. I was like, okay, that's what we're going with. This is about trust in the process. So, yep.
Oh my goodness. And so again, for those of you who are not familiar with the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series, go on to energyspeaksbycottrell.com, go under classes, and under classes, it will have the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series, and you can look for in person if you're in the Tampa Bay area at any point in time between now and April 14th, or go and look at the online. And of course, this will be an online class for cancer. And you can also use the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series journal that you can get on Amazon for $22. I'm hoping to actually even upgrade it one more time before the series is complete, because I'd like to have all of the information as a keepsake of all of the practitioners, who they are, all the descriptions of the class, and everything. But in this journal, you will, as of right now, an explanation of what this is, as well as all of the classes and how much they are. If there's something incomplete there, look at the website, because we are human beings. And then uh, the other thing is I have questions catered to every single class, whether it's in person or online. There's two different tracks, and it goes in the step-by-step model that we're using. And so I'm really excited to actually use it myself, because it's going to help me to put a clear intention down, and I'll take notes and ask myself these questions. And what's interesting is I felt like it was it, it it's really cool to do this as a group. And so the other thing I also have on Facebook is, if you're a part of this class, um, or a part of the series at any point, um, you can jump in to the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series private group, and we can have sacred conversations. And if you'd like a buddy to take this journey with you, if you want to, do the whole series or even part of it, we can make that happen, because having a buddy along the journey is really important. And so
Probably
uh,
activate like we do.
say that again.
And we'll probably activate each other like we do.
Exactly. And so, thank you so much, Bernie, for coming on here
You're very well.
and doing this class with me. I'm very excited.
Really excited, and you know what? I've had so much fun. I have like it. I always do have fun when I'm with you, anyway, Catrell. But I was messaging you earlier, going, I haven't done a plan for it yet, and what we've talked about, it's all just I've written loads, so like it's all come through. So yeah, fantastic, fantastic class. And it's just going to be so much fun because that's our energy. That's where we need to be if we want to start making changes. Is that higher, fun, kind of playful energy? So yeah, let's do that.
Plus, you get to hear her speak in Irish. Literally, the whole like that. Who doesn't like that? Come on. I love you. And maybe priming yourself to go to Ireland too. Set intentions, guys. They will take you places, literally. Um, oh wow. And one last note in regards to this. If you have not if you'd like to hear an intro class, I have it on Energy Speaks podcast, where you can listen to the large intro class that we did. It's about 2 hours long, so road trip. Um, and you'll get to hear from many practitioners, a part of the series, and know what the model is all about and how we're here to transform with each other. And so I want to say thank you, all divine, beautiful souls, for listening or watching, depending. And it doesn't matter what year you're in as well, because the online classes will be available. And if it's in like 2025, you'll have the entire series available for you as well. So
That's gotta
thank
be
you all. Right? So I say thank you all and have a beautiful and beautiful day.